65% of people saying doing this is a great way to relax and unwind. What do you think?
How many? What's the percentage?
65% of people that took a survey, these are Americans, said coming home and doing this is a great way to relax and unwind.
Subscribing to the Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast and listening to it when you get home.
Yeah, that didn't make the top 20, by the way. No.
Just on the outside, like 22, 23.
Yeah, what do you do when you get home to relax?
I sit down and I listen to the Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast.
Do you, you're a liar. Do you have any time to relax having your two young children?
No, what I do when I relax, and I've been doing it a lot lately, and I have some regrets for doing it because I feel like I could be doing more productive things. But when I lay down at the end of the night, well, I do two things. I usually read a story to my daughter, or I have my daughter read a story to me because she's learning how to read right now. So I want her to read something to me, and then I find that relaxing. Then when she falls asleep, I go and I play. What is it called? I'm playing a game on my phone now. God, it doesn't matter. I am so.
You like to play a game on your phone?
Annoyed at the fact that I'm playing this game though, because it's really addictive, and it's such a time suck.
How old is this survey?
It's called Golf Battle, and it's a mini golf course where you compete with other people online.
No gaming or anything is on this list. The number one thing people do is they say they come home and they have a glass of wine.
Smoke a J?
And that
Smoke a
J is not on there. As a matter of fact, they have reading a magazine at number 19 and talking on the phone with a friend at 18. Okay, nobody talks on the phone anymore. They text.
What is the deal with?
And nobody reads a magazine. They're on social media.
Video games did not make this list?
No, not one.
That's okay. This is an old list then.
You would think so, right?
Is it catching up? Is catching up on social media on the list?
No.
Okay, this is an old list. Because that's what a lot of people do when they relax. Jim Gaffigan had a very funny thing he said the other day. He's like, it was kind of a political commentary on kids and their usage of smartphones and how it's impossible to get them to stop using smartphones. And he says, after many fights with getting the kids to use the smartphones and taking the smartphones away from the kids all night long, what I do is I lay down at the end of the evening, because Jim Gaffigan's got like 1,000 kids. And then what I do at the end of the evening, I retreat to my bed. And what do? I get on my smartphone. I mean, I think that's the number one thing. That should be the number one thing.
I come home and I take the dog out and I give him his lunch and he goes bathroom and then we come upstairs and I give him a toy to chew on.
I smoke
and I
a
sit
J,
down on the couch.
Share it with my dog.
No. And I smoke a J. What are you talking about? And then I turn on the TV.
You don't smoke J's?
I usually put on some news that I'd recorded that was on while we were here. And I pick up my phone and I look at Facebook or Instagram and I see what's going on. This is not even close.
How you're keeping in touch with the world, right?
Being at home and watch a movie.
What's number one?
I just told you, drinking wine.
We're drinking wine. What's number two?
Being at home watching a favorite TV show. That's another way to relax.
I can get that. Three?
Yeah, home cooked meal. Who's making it?
That's where
not me.
That's where you should insert smartphone time right there, in between 2 and 3.
How about reading
That's
a book?
That's where that belongs.
People still read books?
No,
some do, I guess.
Books are stupid. I know that sounds stupid and ignorant, but God, you could get one for like pennies on the dollar through Amazon, read it on a Kindle or a Kindle app.
Or on your phone.
On your phone, yeah. And like get your book reading in that way. Like, what's the point of cluttering up your house with a bunch of books? Does it make you look smarter? Like, what the hell? When you see a bookcase at somebody's house, what's the number one thought you have of that person? Like a bookcase that's filled with books, I should say.
Well, yeah, you walk in, you're like, oh, they must like to read. Is that what you think?
I think they're old and out of touch, and they need to read online.
I'm trying to think if I know anybody that is younger, or at least my age even, that has a bunch of books. I don't think it happens. Not with the people I socialize with. They say having a glass of wine is one of life's little pleasures.
I agree with that. Like, okay, I'll say this. I'm not much of a wine drinker.
I drink a lot of wine.
But when I have a glass of wine, there is a spa quality to it. I don't know what it is. It's like I have a glass of wine. It gives me this warmth feeling of muscle relaxation.
For me, it's a cigar. It's the same thing. When I light a cigar, like David Letterman said, a little hour vacation. Because you have to babysit that thing. You can't smoke it, put it down. You're not going to smoke it fast. It takes an hour. And in that hour, your stress level is going to come way down.
Because you're focusing on
You're not focusing
on
on anything but the cigar. Yeah.
Yeah, I should take up cigar smoking because cigar smoking gets everybody away from you too. You know?
Yeah, nobody wants to be around a cigar smoker.
So that's why it's a good.
The number one thing I wanted
vacation.
to do earlier this week, a couple nights ago, when the thunder and lightning storm, I didn't have a cigar at the house. I went downstairs and looked.
Oh man!
And I'm like, oh, I'm out. I can't believe it. So I had to order more. I wanted to sit up.
Just ran down.
I wanted to sit up on the deck and
AM PM and got some Swisher Sweets.
No, gross.
That's a cigar.
No, that's not my kind of cigar. Sorry, I don't like sweet cigars. I like real, never mind. But
Swishers.
I wanted to sit upstairs on the balcony that's covered, and I have a little chair out there with a couple of a table out there with a couple of chairs, and that's where I smoke cigars. And I just wanted to watch the lightning storm.
But you didn't?
But I didn't because I
you didn't have your
it.
cigar.
So I went to famoussmoke.com instead, and I ordered myself a new pack of smokes.
You stayed in. And you got in front of more computer time instead of going outside and watching nature.
What takes you to your happy place? What is your little pleasure, your greatest little pleasure? 805-543-3693. Gretchen writes in, she likes to walk the dog to relax herself or to take her to her happy place.
Nap. She says nap as well. Dude.
Oh, yeah, nap and
I'm
walking
all
the
about
dog.
naps.
Walking my dog is the most stressful thing in the world because he's still a puppy. So it's like, I look at that and I go, oh my God, walking a dog is giving me anxiety and stress. I'm stressed out right now. He's got to try to pee on everything and smell everything. And he's always pulling away and we're always working on come on, let's go. He's getting better, but.
My wife and I, we race to get, it's starting to go away. The nap time is for my youngest, which is, it's sad.
That it's going away?
And it's not sad because I'm sad that he's growing up. It's sad because I like the naps. And
do you nap when the child naps?
Yes.
I was reading something the other day that says, don't clean, don't do chores. When they nap, you nap because otherwise you're going to be exhausted all the time.
So yeah, my wife uses it as an excuse to get stuff done. I use it as an excuse to nap. I'm like, oh, he's sleeping. I'm going to sleep. And oh man, is that so nice? Little midday nap. I miss the midday nap. Oh. I wish I could get the midday nap back. She's been beating me to nap time, which is nice because the house is clean. But still, I would like a little nap every once in a while. Nap is great. I don't know about the end of the day, though. I don't like to take a nap after 2 o'clock. And I could start a nap at 2 o'clock, but I better be done with it by 3. Because
you're not supposed to take a long nap.
If I sleep beyond 3, then my night is shot. But I could still get to bed at a pretty decent time if I do it. Sunday naps. Oh, I love Sunday naps.
I don't play the guitar. My wife doesn't. No musical instruments in our house. Matt says bourbon and some guitar. But my cousin played it. And when we were up in Seattle, President's Day weekend, we were sitting around one night. We're all having a drink. We'd had dinner. It was late. It was 9:30. TV was on. We turned it down. They have these birds that talk. I've brought them up before. They took me.
Well, your
these
cousin
are the ones that took me to the bird sanctuary.
Annoying person to visit because
no, they're really entertaining.
He's got birds and a guitar.
Yeah,
they're
just no. It's no. And then he starts playing the guitar to the birds to calm them down because they're squawking, and they calm right down. Next thing you know,
he's breaking out into song.
My wife's asleep. I'm falling asleep.
Oh, really?
I'm asleep. I'm like, wow, this is super relaxing. And he's just learning to play, so he's just playing, a few riffs or
Dave
whatever.
Dave Matthews.
Just real light
Jack
stuff,
Johnson.
It's just real light stuff. There's nothing more soothing than I think a guitar. Spot on, Matt. Billy writes in, he says, definitely not booze or the devil's lettuce, which I think is weed, but
yes.
A hike or a walk. Why did he have to write definitely not booze or the devil's lettuce?
Maybe
nobody brought that up.
Maybe he's in recovery.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Going back to the musical instrument, I can see that. If you have somebody playing it for you.
Oh, yeah.
Or put on some class. I had a girlfriend once that was a really good piano player. I mean, she was a phenomenal.
A pianist.
She was a really good piano player. And she would practice in the evenings. And I'd be like just, hanging out on the couch. And whenever she'd start practicing the piano, it was like NyQuil to me, man. It just bonk. I would be out on the couch. And she took offense to it. She'd be like, what, you don't like my piano playing? I was like, no, I really like it. I really like it to the point where it puts me to sleep. You're having an effect on me. I think you should recognize that for what it is instead of take offense to it. That relationship didn't last, but she was a good pianist.
What would be the instrument that would be impossible to relax to? Trumpet?
Yes. Tuba.
We're asking
Bass guitar.
you, what's the number one thing you use to relax at the end of a long day? A new survey found that people, the majority of people, 65% that took that survey said a glass of wine.
Which is awesome for where we live. I mean, we're contributing to relaxation.
It's funny, you can drink wine and you can be festive and it can be a social thing, or you can have it by yourself and it could totally be a chill thing.
Isn't it crazy how people drink wine to relax at the end of the day? And can I tell you, before, when I first moved here, I thought this was the sleepiest place in America. I'm like, dude, what do you mean restaurants not open after 9 o'clock? What are you talking about? Come on.
People are drinking too much wine. They're going to bed.
I know. It's the wine influence leaves its mark.
This is on Facebook and Twitter at Jeff and Jeremy, 805-543-3693 to comment on that. Since we're talking about books, what is the last book
Those stupid things known as books.
What is the last book you think you read? Do you even remember the last book that you read?
I do. It was an older book too. It was Travels with Charlie, a Steinbeck book.
Oh yeah, Steinbeck. I've read a
my
Steinbeck
last year of college, so that would have been 2005. That's when I read Travels with Charlie, and that's the last time I read a book, 14 years ago.
Ronald Reagan Diaries, when it came out, which was a long time ago. I haven't finished it. And Joel Osteen.
It doesn't count.
Watched him on TV one Sunday morning.
Doesn't count if you don't finish it.
I haven't finished that book.
Okay, so
had to have it.
You've never finished a book.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Yeah. I did Steinbeck and I did Grapes of Wrath.
What, in school because you had to?
Yeah. We had a guy come in here.
Mice and Men is a really good.
Do you remember that guy? It was like 10 years ago. He's a local guy and he wrote a book and he came in and he had done all these things and he was going to Iraq to talk about it and he gave us a book and it was actually a pretty good book. And
I don't remember.
But I never finished the book because the problem is as soon as I start reading, I start thinking about everything else I could be doing instead of sitting here reading this
book. A good book.
Whether it's cleaning up something or going fishing or golfing or whatever the case is. People still read books? Who reads books nowadays? What is the book demographic?
I don't know.
It's got to be female. I don't think guys read books that much anymore. Can I tell you
who loves books, who I wouldn't think would love books? My kids. My kids, that is the number one played with toy at our house is books.
Well, it's tangible, right? You can turn pages.
I think so, yeah.
See, those things were shoved down our throats when we were kids because we didn't have Kindles and computers. And
I've tried with the electronic book because we have a Fire. We have a Kindle Fire that is my daughter's. And I'm like, you know what? Eliminate a lot of space in your bedroom if you just read your books on this thing. She's like, no, I want to read that book over there she's got a little cart that's got, I don't know, probably 120 books on it. And she goes and she reads the books, which is awesome. I'm not going to discourage that because it could be a lot other things that you're doing, like watching TV or whatever. And she wants to read the books. But I think maybe books are for kids and the old people. Now, the problem is...
What's the old people? What's that number?
The people that have not come around to reading on e-devices.
Like people who are in their 70s?
No, I'd say 50 and older.
Oh, 50. God, we're close to 50.
Oh, no, I know. I think we're right on the edge. I think we're right on... I think a lot of people our age probably still read books, just not you and I.
I don't know anybody. Well, I don't know anybody in their 50s that reads books. I know 60-year-olds that play Candy Crush, though.
I guess it's all who you know.
I need to find some better friends and get a new family.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe to the podcast on Google, Apple, YouTube, and Podbean by clicking on Jeff and Jeremy at KZOZ.com.